you like. But I was summoned, and it kind of like hurt my heart like this morning. It really did. Like I'm just sitting here like, damn, Sharita, you shouldn't even have to wake up with this shit on your mind. But it is what it is, right? And y'all know I have zero problems with dropping names at all. Like I've not ever. So not 1,000% sure, but we're gonna go off of clear cognizance, okay? Clear audience, okay? Clear sentience energy, okay? Intuitiveness, right? And the people that I end up waking up with on my mind so fucking heavy, it was just like, this is crazy. It's crazy how history tends to repeat itself. Now, Buddy, I already know he over there fucking off with Rosie Martinez. I don't feel bad for nothing. Shit, do your thing, shawty, because I ain't mad at you. You got to get it how you got to get it, right? So I'm sitting here and I was like, ain't no fucking way. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even say that it hurt my heart. But I was like to think about it because I'm like, shit, why would Queens come up in my head so fucking heavy? Now, Connecticut and Massachusetts, let me make it very, very, very fucking valuably clear. Anything that came out of Coy High School, I never really gave two shits about anybody in that school. Let me make that very clear. And it was only three to four people that was ever really around my energy from McCoy High School. So anything outside of McCoy High School really trying to say that they knew me like that, the couple Ishmael and Bridget, I had fucked with them because they you know what I'm saying? I had me and Bridget will be on the fucking phone line from the time we woke up, get on the school bus, be at school, we'll see each other, right? Then, because I was like, Sharita, why would they be digging up into shit from high school, right? Derek Tucker, right? Now his brother, his older brother Joseph, he was a dick. Joseph was a dick. And he was just so old, high almighty because he knew he had pretty eyes and he was light skinned, but that motherfucker liked white girls. But the real fucking thing was that's the only real thing that was really gonna really fuck with him because he could have never pulled, oh, this is my preference to be white girls. And he ended up marrying like a little Italian or some Italian, Portuguese, Brazilian bitch. You know, he ended up marrying a bitch with money. You know what I'm saying? But however, considering, you know what I'm saying, I'm not under a non-disclosure, but considering that they daddies was not back in the 80s, because let me say it again, back in the 80s, hit Eric B was they daddy. Now, let me make this clear. Now, it broke my heart because I was like, I do not ever want to believe in my heart nor my soul that Miss Tracy McKay was ever fucking involved in this. That right there, I was like, that will hit different. Because the only reason why I'm having to look at this situation and I was like, why is these people in my dream so fucking heavy? Like when I say I seen people shit so fucking vivid, I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I'm seeing their son. Damn. Is his name Terry? Well, anyways, let's just say the McKays. And the thing of it is, I've always like in my heart. The only reason why I didn't ever fuck with Derek like that because I really saw him like family. I really saw him like little bro, whatever the case may be. And it was the thing of it is years ago when I was having my first child, and I don't even know what the hell that Carla and Shane had told them to this day, I swear to God, won't. I know for a fucking fact, every fucking body that has fucking attacked me and did some fuck shit, I can guarantee on everything that I have, and I don't have fucking much to my name. Won't none of them be bold enough to be like, hey, Sharita, I fucked up, or I did do this, I did do that, right? And I have to sit there and think about when I was having my first child, I really wanted my daughter to go with, Tracy and Joe. I really did. But the only reason why I didn't give my daughter to them, because Carla and Sheila was so adamant, you can't trust Tracy, da 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 da. But the thing of it was with Carla had her way. Like Sheila was still in the game, still getting NDAs, fucking with the basketball players, the comedians, like industry. So that's why when people come for me like, motherfucker, I've been knowing about the music industry, the sports industry, way before y'all motherfuckers wanted to become escort strippers and all this other shit. So Rosie Martinez, bitch, shut the fuck up. You been nasty since we were fucking kids. The difference between me and you did it because you love to do it. I had to do it based off of fucking survival. Don't ever fucking compare my name to your ass. Ever, bitch. Now that right there, let's make that clear and clear the motherfucking air. Steven, he already knew what the fucking time I was on because he came to the fucking high school from New York, already jumped in from blood gang, blood ties. So I know who was the Bloods. I know who was really fucking crew from upstate. So a lot of y'all motherfuckers running my name through the fucking mud. I highly recommend you shut the fuck up. Because if you thought my temper was back then, y'all knew I didn't play that shit back then. I'm definitely not going to play that shit right now. Because I ain't swinging and ain't no talking. I'm going to hear you out and I'm going to listen to you clearly before I even give you a fucking reaction. Because some of y'all whole shit, you already on a deadline. I don't want y'all to have to come through to deal with my rage. Because y'all ain't even fucking really worth it. And the fact that I even had to announce some of y'all hoe ass names is fucking really beneath me. And it blows my fucking mind. But back to how I was addressing this shit, right? And Miss Tracy, in which I was like, I really only stayed around it because I was like, I want to know what kind of family, if I'm going to give my daughter up. Because I was already trying to run away from these motherfuckers. Carla always had a fucking vendetta. Carla Lynette Dawkins, aka Carla Lynette Chapman or Adams, whichever one last name she wanted to take on, because she still had that vendetta with Niecy. Ain't no way you gonna ever fucking convince me that you ain't gonna kill your own fucking kinfolk. Georgetta collected on that motherfucking insurance. Kiara wasn't about shit because Carla, how I knew Carla wasn't about shit was when they stayed in Gracefield. Carla didn't really give a shit about Courtney because she knew she could manipulate Courtney, because Courtney was always convinced since we were little kids. Courtney Chapman, she was always fucking convinced since we was little kids that Courtney didn't have no brain, and you know I was missing the brain when I was a kid. So Courtney always had that embedded in her head, right? And how I knew something was so fucked up with Carla was, we lived in Gracefield, Florida. Kiara and Courtney had got into it bad. I didn't really catch on to it because I was like, well, shit, Carla ain't gonna stop it. Who the fuck am I? Because Carla, I would get my ass beat to stop them from fucking fighting. But Kiara will be the main motherfucker to start some shit and be quick to go run to Carla or Shane to get me in trouble whenever I was looking to prevent shit going on. And then when it came to Deshaun, I would do my best to protect Deshaun from not getting involved in the bullshit. Because it was already bullshit that we had to do, we as the oldest ones. But Kiara will be the one that Carla and Shane and everybody would look out for because they knew she would go along with the bullshit. Kiara would. How I knew Carla wasn't about shit was that day that Kiara stabbed Courtney in the leg. I did my motherfucking best to keep that shit from even fucking happening. And then when Kiara tried to come at me, Carla and Shane only end up coming in at the part that when Kiara, after she stabbed her, I was sitting there trying to help Courtney with her fucking wound to keep her from bleeding out in her leg. Now, mind you, Courtney ass should have went to the hospital, but Carla was like, no, if we take her or whatever, we're going to be dealing with the state. And we already just got over having to deal with all that stuff right there. I still remember that shit like it was motherfucking yesterday. We was in Gracefield, motherfucking Florida. That's when they had the car. But Carla was still feeling some type of way because Carla should have never fucking married Shane in the first place, because I remember when he had that red hatchback when we stayed in Lawton, Oklahoma, and they was on the fucking Fort Sill base, and his ass was cheating on her then, and then he was cheating on her some more once we got to motherfucking Gracefield. Shane had this habit of wanting to just try to get me to go along with it, so it was always abuse to try to get me to submit, to not tell shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she need to go to churches. She need to do this. Churches would be fucking surprised because it was like, shit, the child know how to speak in tongue and all this other bullshit. But fast forward, when that shit happened, I was like, Carla, Kiera stabbed her. They beat my ass because it was like, why you didn't? I'm like, no, Kiera did this. So it was like all this shit going on. Carla and Kiera was always the little fucking duo because I started to realize I was like, Kiera's scam had went on ahead to go ahead and do car wreck scans because it was like I was the responsible. I wouldn't get no car wreck. I wouldn't mess up Carla's car. If anything, when I got into it, I cleaned it up or whatever the case may be. Kiera and Courtney will always have to make it their business to go to the hood. Mind you, we stayed in the hood. We were still on food stamps, welfare, and Section 8. Carla had her job. She had her RN. She had her BSN at that time. That's when they was moving towards the COE and shit. So whatever fucking story and scenario was going on with all this shit, because I was like, sure, where is all this shit coming from? But it all fucking makes sense. But I was like, how the fuck did she convince Tracy to go along with this shit? And I know she would have to sign a fucking non-disclosure when it came to her fucking with Miss Tracy. Because I was like, well, my thing is, Carla knew who she could fuck with, but she will only fuck with motherfuckers that she knew had some kind of status, some type of pull, and still had ties to the industry. That I fucking knew. But at that time, I wasn't even concerned about being, Derek's friend just because of that. I actually was going over there to the McKay house just to fucking get sleep, just to get peace. And then I used to love being with, around Derek because it's like the motherfuckers doing music. Music to me was at that time therapy. Or if I didn't go to their house, I would go to Miss Lewis' house where Fabio Patrick and all of them, they were from Africa, but they were from Portugal though. And Fabio he was going to school to become a physician or a doctor at that time. But then at the same time, he would play video games. So I liked video games. But it was like I didn't have a computer because anytime that they felt that I was doing something, any person that I could find that I knew could get me as far the fuck away possible from these people, I would hang out with them. But it was always that I would have to get close with boys. So girls were my go-to to keep them off my fucking back. But it's like, you just want to sleep with these boys. You want to sleep with these boys. So apparently they must have all these fucking people convinced. But Miss Lewis and Miss Tracy knew it was like I was not ever on that type of time. I did not ever cross that line or disrespect that neither one of them women's house with neither Fabio, neither with Derek at all. Not once. At all. Ever. And then I was sitting there was just like, okay, so what would cause this dynamic to go as fucking hazy? Because like I said, when I had my first daughter, I was set on my daughter going with Miss Tracy because to me, in my mind and in my heart, that was my chance to say, even though like I love all my motherfucking kids, my daughter would have fucking had a chance had I gave my daughter to Miss motherfucking Tracy. My daughter would have fucking had a chance. She would have had a chance to know what a two-parent fucking home would have been. My daughter would have fucking had a chance to fucking know what love was, what family was, even though I wasn't there. And I knew for a fact that Miss Tracy would have still allowed me to come in. And if I had to play big sis for my kid, I would have fucking did that for the benefit for my daughter to fucking have a chance. Because staying in that house with Carla and Shane, that was hell on earth. Those were my biggest bullies. So when Yvonne, which I was like, well, shit, what would make Carla want to be so friends with Yvonne? Kiera didn't really like Rachel at the very beginning. When it came to Rachel Hooser coming in, I was the one to actually make friends with her because Kiera was like, she ain't my type of friend. She converted that girl to want to be into that hood shit. Carla was only friends with Yvonne because Yvonne, shit, I was looking at Yvonne upside her head like she was the stupidest bitch in the world, and I still fucking do. But I was like, for her to be married to fucking Lester and that motherfucker disrespect you in every fucking which way. Oh, I gotta stay with him. I gotta stay with him. He was Jamaican. And I was like, shit, bitch, if anything, yeah, he gives Jamaican vibes, but for him to be short, ugly, and disrespectful, and you still with him, and she had I'm not gonna mention the basketball player's name, but the bitch had one of the top known basketball players. And if I mention his name, people will be like, what? She had a basketball player and she married to this? That's when I was like pure fucking disappointment. But it was her coming to me like she inspired me. Like, look at how she gave birth and shit like that. And that day I was like, I still regretted every fucking day that I should have gave my fucking daughter to Miss Tracy. But I didn't because Carla talked so much shit, and then she got Sheila to start talking so much shit about Miss Tracy. That's why over the years I was like, I hope Miss Tracy didn't ever help Carla or Shane in this fucking matter, because that will fucking break me, because it's like shit. Let me give you the hard dose of fucking reality, Miss Tracy, because every time that I ran, it was always in the back of my mind, even before I even went to the military, I would have still gave my daughter and my son, Ayana and Adrian, to Miss Tracy and Joe. Because I knew my fucking kids would have had a chance to be kids, to grow up and have a fucking actual experience in life, not this bullshit. So anybody trying to say, oh, Sharita is this, she's that, Miss Tracy, I would have never fucking crossed the line with Derek. Now, granted, it was like he was attractive, but I was like, shit, he's younger than me. And then two, I just see him as a broski. And then three, he done see me do some fuck shit, so I ain't gonna ever cross that line with him like that. You know what I'm saying? And then to consider it, it's like, ain't nobody looking at the matter that, yeah, I might have did some fuck shit when I was 16 and 17, but was anybody ever really sitting down and saying what was happening in the home to that girl? Nobody did that. Not nobody, not administrators, not teachers, not nobody was taking a chance and opportunity to ask, what happened to this girl for her to fucking be snapping? And they, most of the time, they knew for a fucking fact, Sharita, it got to a point that I would just tell you how the fuck I feel. I didn't give a fuck what the fuck was gonna come with it. Even if it was a student, a teacher, you gonna come at it, you gonna attack it. You best believe, you better pray. Ain't no pen, pencil, scissors, nothing sharp or anything where I have to get you down. Dustin knew that. Corey knew that. Any fucking boy in my class knew I will fight your ass. Keep a distance. Steven, even these motherfuckers that was coming, oh, we from New York, we from Cali, we from Connecticut, I ain't give a shit about where the fuck you from. All I knew was I had to protect myself. All they knew was that I was quiet, or they thought I was shy, or all this other shit. No, motherfucker, I was dealing with shit, and I ain't have time to be worried about looks and shit, but I'm pretty sure if I did do that shit, half y'all motherfuckers would on the wayside. But I'm sitting here, I was just like, well, the only people that I know for a fucking fact that would have access like this, because it ain't like I'm one of those motherfuckers where people, she's this, she's that. You could think that all fucking day, but I could count on how many on my fucking hand. Ain't none of y'all motherfuckers ever really asked me, Sharita, what is it that you really went through? A lot of bullshit. Most of the bullshit was coming from in the home. When Carla felt like she couldn't handle me, she allowed Shane to do the fuck shit that he was doing. Well, who got hickeys on you? Motherfucker, I'm a teenager, for one. Two, you're not my man. And three, who the fuck are you to come violate my privacy when I'm taking a shower? I'm talking about, he was doing that at the beginning when Carla got married to him. And then when I'm already having my first child and shit like that. And he busting in the bathroom while I'm still taking a shower. Like, bro, privacy. I'm not your kid, and he would make it his business whenever he would get real mad with Carla. I only got one kid with you, and that's my son. Them ain't my kids, them ain't my kids, and that ain't your child, and all this other stuff. So whenever they would get into it, that's when you would see shit just get like real fucking wonky. So that's why when all this shit is going on, I was like, there's nothing that nobody can convince me otherwise with all this gaslighting and shit. You got to understand, I dealt with that shit since I was a kid. So y'all doing shit that I, trying to repeat the pattern. I was like, okay, here go another glasses motherfucker that's going to do some stupid shit, right? Because I remember with, the Vargas boy. I met him off the internet. You know what I'm saying? Who else? James Christopher Viagra. Okay, that was like the longest running. It was long distance, and then we will meet up, and then we, leave each other. But you want to know what it was? He could respect the fact because he had a best friend named Crystal, and then it would be him and Crystal calling. We'd be on the phone three-way when I say every day, it wasn't a day that would pass. When he got cut up and everything, who was on that line with his ass? From the Lower East Side, Sharita was like, hey, get to the hospital, how he was, and it was like, it used to hurt me. So finally, when I got the job and got that money, and when I was 16, and I made my own money to pay for my own flight, my clothes, and everything to go up there to New York. And I remember we got to see each other or whatever. And now, granted, it was like pregnancy did happen, like all in between that shit. But it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like I did some fuck shit in my day, but it was just like, you know, it was wrong. And I remember having to tell him that. And it kind of like broke my heart because to me, you know, me and him, we was close. And it wasn't nothing that we didn't ever fucking talk about under the sun. If I fucked up and I lied, like, he was the main person that I learned with a relationship. You should not ever lie about anything, hide anything, if you're going through anything, you know, all that stuff. But it was just like, it was just certain things that was just different, you know what I mean? And then it was like over relationships and shit like that, it was just like when they knew that certain people would have my back or have a way for me. It was always Carla and Shane. Sheila would do her fuck shit in the background, but it was just like I haven't ever really looked at what family is or, you know, certain things the same way. And most of the time, I had to learn from my fucking environment. Like, does that look like a healthy family? Does that look like it is? Most of the time, like I said, it was always a fucking stranger taking me in. And it's like, all right, we're going to feed you or whatever. We're going to look out for you or whatever. We'll fuck with you or whatever. But then it was like, it was some fuck shit. That's why when it comes to, you know, Naomi and all of them, whatever, right? But truth be told, yeah, you know, Willow was cool. And then once he realized that I wasn't on that shit because Sheila would circulate over there when we stayed off Beacon Hill and Wood Hill, right? Wood Hill was the people she would use in the background to go ahead and get them, you know, preconditioned and groomed and shit like that to do this shit. So that's why all the people that I know I'm dealing with now was the pre-groomed motherfuckers. Cause I was like, damn, Sharita, I'm not fucking slow. It take me a second to process the shit, but it was like, Sharita, put the pieces together. Cause I know none of these motherfuckers got a heart, let alone the fucking balls just to say, Shitty, yeah, I knew who you was from a long time ago, or, you know, this was the plan to go do this to you, right? And that's why I was like, but why am I dreaming about Derek and Fiona and, you know, all they family dreaming about their house, my kids going in and shit like that. But it was like, Sharita, your life would have been so much fucking different if you had allowed them kids just to go over there and instead of allowing them kids to fall into the hands of these fuck motherfuckers. But I was like, who would have all this pull when it comes to the industry? Because it was like, all right, Omar knew he was not ever allowed. He was my favorite little jump off. That was my little booty call. That was my little slide. You know what I'm saying? If I came through to the city, Omar was my little go-to. And the thing of it was, people had this misconception because I remember I hit him, Omar, Fran, and Adam all at the same time. But it was on my accord. It wasn't never, oh, we're going to provoke her. We're going to pay her. She was being, no, it was just, I fucking felt like doing it. Plus, I needed, like, I didn't have a real fucking outlet or anything like that. So, of course, whenever you going through fucking moments, some kids turn to hyper actuality type thing. And for me, it was just like, it's an outlet. You know what I'm saying? It was like, at that point, it's my senior year. Wasn't nobody helping me. Wasn't nobody giving a fuck. So why should I give a fuck? I really had got to, don't nobody give a fuck. So I'm going to do what the fuck I want. I didn't care about nobody's feelings, man, woman. I didn't care about nobody's fucking feelings at all because it was like, to me, who the fuck gave a fuck about mine? Nobody, and it showed. And I remember when that shit happened, that's when I had to really like look at there. I was like, damn, I could have did music with this motherfucker. Like, I had fun as a kid, like going to Miss Tracy's house and then going up there to, you know, to Derek's room because you got to think. No girls was really allowed to come to his house, but I was. I'll be at that boy's house in his bed, in his bedroom, door open or closed, knock the fuck out. Listening to him making beats all motherfucking day. And the shit was comforting. And then we all come link up and come together, do some music, dance around and shit like that, right? And then, of course, like I said, we was all cool. And then that's when I was told, like, hey, you know, Omar was in that accident. I'm like, fuck, what happened? You know what I'm saying? And I could only do what I could do at that time. And mind you, over all them years, he was from Dominican Republic or whatever. His sister and stuff like that kind of, you know, put the pieces together. And then, you know, Ariel knew. But it was just like, damn, y'all, like, we was cool. But Omar knew I had a boundary. And that boundary was, you're married. I don't want you to send me D pics. I don't want to see you doing all that weird shit. And when all that shit was going on, you know what I'm saying? I had an email. I was doing my own little pictures because I was just enamored with myself. And some motherfuckers would take that, she was trying to be a slut. She was trying to do this. Actually, no, I really fucking wasn't. But considering that that shit went on the internet a long time ago and people was convinced that I was really just doing that shit, it was like, no, it was none of that shit that I was into at all. That was never the intent. And plus, he was the only person I gave that access to my email to even look at that shit. He was like, I still got access to that email from years ago. And I'm just like, Then, of course, I was like, common sense is going to say, Shredder, you know he showed this to somebody. But I had to learn to, like, not give a fuck about that. But I was like, damn, for all these people that I felt was cool, you would think that a motherfucker would tell me. But I was like, nah. And then it was just like half of motherfuckers that was coming to approach me. I was like, Shredder, these motherfuckers knew who you were before they even approached you at that time. So me realizing at this time, like half the motherfuckers, even down to the last one, it was just like, these motherfuckers was really convinced that I was really into that shit, not knowing that I had only gave that to one fucking person and for them to use that to their fucking advantage to do some shit like that to me. But then it was just like, of course, with the kind of lifestyle that these people had, they were living and stuff like that, I just sat there, I was just like, it's crazy to be fucked up. Like, your own people would do this shit. Kiara already knew that that bitch had it in her because Kiara knew ever since we was kids, she will always try me. I'll be minding my business, but once she realized who would do what and how hard the punishment would be, and Kiara would get a fucking thrill off that shit. And it was just like, she knew, like, okay, well, if I tell Shane that Sharita did this, she knew the beating would be just as bad, but or she can get all of them to fucking group up or whatever, right? Now, mind you, you know, when we was like 13, 14, when they was trying to get me trafficked that first time and shit like that, and it was the Arabic girl that used to stay in the neighborhood when we stayed in, not Sanford, what's that, Castleberry? So I was looking at that as a chance to fucking learn Arabic at that time. But they took it as a chance and they got that girl in fucking trouble. You know, she was Muslim. I want to say she was Muslim or something. Muslim or Arabic. But got in trouble. And then the dudes that was trying to traffic us was an African dude and a Jamaican dude. You know what I'm saying? And from since then, I knew not to ever trust no Jamaican or no motherfucking African motherfucker. Ever since that shit had happened, because they almost had got me. And the only person that who saved me, now mind you, the Cuban dude, he was older, and I still remember his name was fucking Mario. They was going to allow that shit to happen. But at the same time, in order for me to get out of that situation, I knew better. Like, hey, Shirley, you gotta play along with this shit. So meaning, if I was gonna get that gang thing happened to me, I knew I had to allow it in order to fucking survive it. So these motherfuckers was going around, Carla, Kiara, all of them going around the fucking city saying, yeah, you know, she's giving, she'll do it, she with it. And then I didn't understand at that time. I was like, I would not have, you know, as a kid, 13, 14, you would not ever fucking think your own folks would convince these people that you with it, you're gonna do it for free, but all this other bullshit was going on, right? So once I realized that, I was like, Carla and Shane and Kiara was the main top ones on this, right? Sheila already had her own fucking vendetta. So anytime like Sheila knew I was getting too much of her, I would just run a Carla house because I would literally have a little bit of freedom to a point where it was just like I did not want to be under Sheila. Because if I was with Sheila, the shit was going to fucking happen. It didn't matter. She was going to make sure I was trapped in the house. She will make sure that she, like on those times that I was trapped in the house with Sheila, she would cook my food. She will make the Kool-Aid. Me not knowing with the Kool-Aid, she'll be like, oh, that's just for you. And she'll buy her own drinks and put it in her room. Me not knowing that the Kool-Aid that the so-called mom, Sheila Deshawn Rawls, was making was drugged up, because I didn't ever realize after I would eat my food and I would drink the Kool-Aid in this house, living with my mom, I didn't really pay attention until I was like 15 or 16, right before we moved to Orlando, that every time after I would drink the Kool-Aid that my own mama would make, I would pass out. So I would pass out not knowing that a day or 2 days done passed. I would not know that the days had passed. My own mama would do this. And I knew that anytime that she would cook, so I started learning how to cook my own food, my own dinner, because I noticed that every time that she would cook, and it'll be like, yeah, girl, I made us something to eat. I made your favorite. And then it would be like, I would have my favorite juices, my snacks. So every time after the abuse would happen, the refrigerator would get all filled up. You remember that shoes or that outfit or that CD you said? You remember you said you had a favorite radio, not knowing that my mama had just made the fucking money off of me getting the R word done to me, and got these people to come to her apartment to do this shit. And then after the while, whenever she feel like I was like being distant because I'm still like being discombobulated, I'm going to have to go to school or whatever, and I'm sitting there like, why my body hurt? Or why was this hurting? Or it would get to a point where I would be in so much fucking pain. And then like when the laws was catching on to the shit, because I would complain, and the teachers would be like, hey, you got to go to the nurse's station. And the one thing that happened, we end up being in Florida. She takes me from Florida. We end up hiding out in Luverne, Alabama, this little podunk town. Now, mind you, I was like going to the 9th grade. I was in the 9th grade at this time. We had to leave fucking Orlando. We had to leave Castleberry to go there. I was going to Lake Howard High School, so I had to go to fucking Alabama and Luverne. The shit happens again. But this time it happens again, and I end up waking up where the guy was getting ready to traffic me and shit like that. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it literally felt like the world was spinning. I didn't know where the fuck I was at. And when the dude realized, I remember him asking me, he was like, let me ask you one more again. And he already did what he did to me. The females had already did what they did to me. He was like, how old are you? I was like, I'm only 14 or 15 at that time. He was like, what? And he ended up spinning off, dropping me off somewhere at the end of a dirt road. And I had to walk, because mind you, it was in the country. I was the only 9th grader that had to do the 12th grade work, meaning all the schools was in one area. That's how I knew I was in somewhere I had no business. And she ended up having to take me to the clinic because she was like, something wrong with her. And she was like, go pee on this stick, go pee on this stick. This is before I even knew what the fuck a pregnancy test was and all this other shit. I'm like, what? So we get there. Mind you, I'm a kid. Mind you, this shit had already happened before we moved to Georgia, to Alabama, back to Florida, then to Nashville, back down to fucking Florida again, because every time they was catching on to the fact that shit was always happening in the hands of this fucking woman, and if Sheila needed to get me off her hands, she'll pass me off to fucking Carla and Shane. But it was just any time that I got mixed between them, like the history ain't ever been safe. It ain't ever been cool. I ain't ever been the person where on my own accord when I did anything. I also had to fucking learn at the same time that shit, don't trust nobody, because anybody that you do this shit with, and then the people that I would feel that I could trust was the motherfuckers doing me the worst. It's like, y'all think that I was cool with you taking videos of me unconsented? So it got to a fucking point by the time I hit my 20s, it was just like, I was so immune to it. It was like, it's going to happen how it's going to fucking happen. Like, I can't care right now, and I'm not fit to sit here and fight any fucking man that thinking like, oh, so you just sell your body, you solicit your body, you cool with somebody recording you. I ain't ever fucking been cool with that. But it's cool that I'm sitting here looking at every single person across the board. Y'all still cool with Sheila Deshawn Rawls, Carla Lynette Dawkins, Shannon Ozell fucking Dawkins, listening to Kiera Latrice fucking Chapman, and Deshawn, like, shit, I remember talking to Deshawn like a few years back, and I'm sitting there looking at, I was like, shit, he got the energy and the entity on him, because it was just like talking to him, and I was just like dark. I was like, they got his ass. Courtney was already a lost cause, because I was like, shit, how the fuck this girl keep getting a job? This bitch snort more coke and pop more pills than anything, and she getting a job in the hospital? How, Sway? And I was just like, and I could see why her daddy didn't really want to deal with her, because he had to fucking remember, he got her every time he looked at Courtney, he remembering shit, I was fucking on a hoe. A 304. I was part of her lineup out there on Mission Boulevard in Lawton, Oklahoma. Carla want to be so quick to forget about the past, but then it was just like, shit, how the hell she knew, Reva and Zachary Timms? And then it was like, how the fuck did she ended up being friends with Paula White at that time? And I was like, Sharita, two and two, the math is mathing. They all in that same swinger energy, right? And like I said, at the age of tender 19, I'm figuring out it's a married couple. Like, to me, I was looking trying to fucking escape this shit. 36 years of trying to escape this shit. And they only used to train Courtney and Kiara just to make sure that I didn't escape. They made sure that any person that they realized would be nice to me, feed me, want to be really close to me, they made it a business to not be close to me anymore. Crystal Saldana, Lizette Saldana, they took me on in. Then you had Judith and Naomi, all of them, they took me in. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, y'all did this fuck shit too. It's like I have to remember every fucking body, like I'm coming in. Even when I talked to the last dude and the family was like, she cool and shit. But then the fuck shit comes in because you decided to listen to his bullshit because it was like, wait a minute. Whoa, you know all of this? You know all of this? Like, come on now. And then it was like, for me to be dreaming so heavy, I was like, well, shit. Because I'm in the dream. I'm sitting here seeing Derek's big brother. I was like, that nigga was a dick. He was an asshole. I remember meeting him for the first time. I was like, why is he so fucking mean? And it was just like, it is what it is. But it was like, but I was like, Miss Tracy? And she, what I'm saying? She was a police officer before anything, but she was, she was a girl, what I'm saying? I knew what she did before she was a police officer, but I was like, it was never for me to ever judge that situation. But the only thing I had knew, it was like when I had my oldest and my son, it was always in me to like, shit, I should let them, have a chance to have a two-parent home. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing like, ain't no fucking feeling of wanting to bring kids in the world and them not have that chance to know what a real fucking family is. And now my kids get to be caught up in the bullshit. Like, I was looking to fucking end that shit. But then it's like, in order for me to fucking end all this shit, I gotta denounce even my motherhood, any fucking thing that I bust my ass for, any money I worked jobs. I ain't go to no strip clubs. I didn't make no OnlyFans, back page, none of that shit. My only way to even want it today, because it was like I always desired to be with a man. But I gotta remember to tell people my first abusers were women. I was touched on and fondled on from women, and then the woman that's supposed to be my mom, Sheila, at the tender age of, I can still remember every fucking incident from the time I was 1. A lot of the basic average human cannot ever fucking remember that shit. I still remember that shit from when I was 1, 3, 6, 10, 12. I can remember every fucking incident. It lives with me every day. I can remember every time that they laid a body out. Who wants to live with that? And I'm like, I'm not going to be a victim to none of this shit. Because I know for a fucking fact and for sure, every fucking person, and even if it's a judge, have to sit here and listen to this shit. Her story is consistent. Nothing has changed. It's more pieces that I'm having to add in because it's motherfuckers feeling like they were safe because she ain't saying me. It wasn't me. No, motherfuckers, been you. My first bullies were the fucking people that worked in the medical field. RNs, nurse practitioners and shit. Those were my first bullies. Police officer. My aunt's husband. Military man. Those were my first bullies. Johnny William Luther Jr., that motherfucker, a bully. Patrick Monique, bullies. Those were my first bullies. So football industry, whether it's football, soccer, track, you think I would want to be friends with anybody from them industries? Fuck no. I was taught a long time ago what comes along whenever you hop into motherfuckers when it comes to the sports industry. When it comes to the music industry, the shit I learned, and then as I grew up to pay attention and be aware of it, it's like, shit, I don't want no parts of that. I used to always, like I said, I knew for a fact if I had went on ahead and took law, I would have been a great ass lawyer or a judge, or I wanted to be SWAT team. And then I realized, hey, Shooter, you don't want no parts of that. Because look at the fuck shit that they do. They supposed to be protecting and serving people and helping motherfuckers. And these motherfuckers be the reason why a lot of motherfuckers get hindered. I remember watching the movie Gifted Hands, like, well, maybe you could become a doctor. Then you realize doctors ain't shit. They manipulate the system just as worse as the rest of these bitches. So it's like, Sharita, you know what? It's just best to be who the fuck you are. Either people gonna fuck with you or they not. Why the fuck should I care? Because they show you every day. They don't give a fuck about your existence. They're going to believe what the fuck they going to believe. Because guess what? A real motherfucker that don't, want to really know you, they're going to actually question. They're going to really want to genuinely know you. Not, oh, let's be friends. That's why I don't do friends, because it was always someone trying to force themselves to be friends or buy my friendship. Oh, we're going to buy her a Gucci purse, a Louis purse, a Michael Kors purse. That's why there's a lot of bitches, you got to fuck for it. I have motherfuckers just want to give it to me just to be fucking friends and get close to me. If I ever had took on that, I'm pretty sure I would have been great at it. But I knew it wasn't in my lane to do that. I wasn't in the business to sell it, because guess what? Somebody else was already making so much fucking profit of it from years ago. But to steal from somebody, that wasn't in me. To lie to somebody, it wasn't in me. Because even when I did that to I'm going to just say Christopher, when I did that to James Christopher, when I did that to his ass, I told his ass straight up. And even though it broke my heart, because it was like, shit, I knew he would have been a great fucking parent. Even though he was a little rough around the edges, my daughter would have been good, but my kid wasn't his. And I remember having to admit that, and I was like, shit, I felt fucking relieved, because it was like, Shrita, you didn't have to do that man like that. And here it is, my, you know what I'm saying? Who's to say she could have been? But hey, the facts of the matter of it is, this nigga said he did the test and came back that she was his. And then here we are, a fucked up situation. And it was like, you know what? It is what it is. Motherhood just wasn't for me. I did the best with what I could and what the fuck I had. And every fucking person that was supposed to be the support system was the destroying system. That's what the fuck that was. And then for me to dream about these people, I was like, ain't no way I would want to feel like Miss Tracy and Derek and all these motherfuckers. I said, ain't no way. But then it was just like, Sharita, for you to doubt yourself to say that, and your dream is very prominent and very fucking heavy on you right now, shit, I just came to a point. If I see a motherfucker in my dream, it just is what it is. These motherfuckers is working against you. Because I'm at a point, it's just like, shit, if I see you in my dream, shit, you automatically an enemy to me. Who the fuck ever reach their hand out and say, hey, you good? Like, are you good? Like, I'm coming to see about you good. I ain't ever had nobody fucking do that shit. But let the shoe be on the other foot. Even if it's somebody like, oh, I don't want her around. I know for a fact I'm a solid ass fucking friend. I'm a loyal ass fucking female. So any fucking man that if I ever decided to get out there again, I know I'm too fucking loyal. It's too fucking expensive to be here. I said, God, I'm tired. I'm tired, bro. It's gonna be what the fuck is gonna be. Like, shit, death? Who the fuck is scared of that shit? Because it sure the fuck ain't me. I've been wanting to fucking go since I was fucking a kid. I remember having to cut myself just to fucking get relief. Like, this shit can't be real. Like, I was like, ain't no way this shit can be real. I remember cutting on myself because of that. It was like, I need to feel something. I don't want to drink because I'm seeing an alcoholic in front of me. I don't want to do drugs because I seen what the fucking drugs do to you. I fought for years to get my grandma off of that shit. From the age of 6 till I was fucking 14 years old, I fought with my motherfucking grandma to get her off that fucking crack rock. Being there, seeing her having to do what she did to fucking politicians and lawyers and shit that still owed her favors, who was getting her off of court cases and shit. That's how I know how the system work, cuz. I ain't ever want to be a part of the game, because who the fuck am I to be a part of the game when you sitting here seeing you got motherfucking peoples that's GD, Blood, Crips, and every fucking thing else, Latin Kings, you fucking name it. I was surrounded by all of that shit. I ain't want to be part of that shit, because it's like, why the fuck would you do that? We all family. But this shit, if they got to bang, they got to bang, and I got accustomed to what the fuck death looked like every time you turn around a corner. Your own people taking out your own people. But shit, it's for the gang, ain't it? I was tired of that shit, and that's why everybody's like, why your heart's so fucking good? Because I'm tired, bruh. I want it. I did. I don't want that shit no more, because it's like, it's about me now. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. I don't give a fuck somebody say, hey, somebody kid fucking died today. Well, shit, it's a cookie to fucking crumble. The fuck you want me to do? I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna have my motherfucking moment. I might be mad as fuck, but it's just gonna be what the fuck it's gonna be. How the fuck, like, I'm so, like, I hate the fact that I have to say, bitch, you're numb. You're numb. You're crying tears of anger. It's like you're not even hurt no more. You're just fucking numb, Sharita. Y'all out here thinking I'm getting tats for fucking decorations. No, bitch, I'm getting tatted because I need to fucking feel something. You know what was fucking hilarious? He's like, yeah, you can't put numbing cream on it, but I'm only asking for the numbing cream because it's like, I'm trying to process something. But the moment when Brian was doing that motherfucking tattoo, and I was like, I know you being ornery and shit, because I know it's a lot of motherfuckers coming here and want the numbing cream, but for you to be like, oh no, and it was like, it will be times where the motherfuckers start going hard and deep and shit like that. And I was just like, y'all bitches is like trifling around this. But I was like, to him, it was like he thinking he doing something. But to me, I'm just sitting here like, motherfucker, do what you gotta do. Cause shit, I need a fucking relief shit. At least I know what it feels like whenever they trying to fucking scrape the skin off your ass. That was my thought process. It was like, shit, the deeper he goes, shit, he ain't doing shit that I ain't fucking accustomed to. So it's like a motherfucker trying to do shit to make me feel like I'm fit to be jealous because you left for another nigga or had babies. Motherfuckers, congratulations. Shit, do they need clothes or Pampers? Because apparently you gotta fuck for $1, do something strange for a little piece of change. Slide on a knob or a couple little things for the car. So when people be feeling like they making me mad or jealous or envious, bitch, I wouldn't even tell you to try harder, because it requires me to give a shit in the first place. And now everybody's like, damn, does she give a fuck about when I tell you I don't give a fuck? I really don't. So what is it? Y'all too busy trying to figure out what the weakness is. It's like the weakness at this point is thinking about you fucking other humans existing. I fucking have a pure hatred, a despise, a distaste for human existence. At this point, you guys are like a fucking annoyance. It's like, you know how the fucking inner part of your ear itch so fucking bad and you just can't get to it? It's like one of those, like I'm trying to get to the fucking itch and I can't reach it, and it becomes an annoyance. It's like a fucking allergy where your itch is so fucking bad and you just can't get rid of it unless you have fucking Benadryl. That's my fucking annoyance with people, because it's like, why are you doing stupid shit? Because first of all, I'm already going to know what the fuck you're doing. That's for one. Two, was I supposed to be surprised or caught off guard? Because there's a lot of motherfuckers thinking that, oh, all this shit was safe with all the shit that they was doing, even down to motherfucking TikTok. Like, it requires me to give a shit. Oh, they stealing money again, Sharita, but you know for a fact it's your money. It's my money and I need it now. All the motherfuckers that gotta go ahead and get involved in shit like that, these be motherfuckers like, y'all doing shit, and you doing shit with motherfuckers who got vendettas and agendas. I'm having to sit here and look at situations like, these motherfuckers stupid in a bitch. Do they realize who all they working with? Do they realize who's about to flip on them? I don't give a shit, but it's the more the merrier. But the most beautiful thing in this situation, I just want to know who's going to flip on who. Because it's like, at this point, it's like, well, our target, they're not budging. They really don't really give a shit. They're okay with being in their own world, which I've had to learn over the years. So all the only thing is like, well, we forced them into isolation. Bitch, you ain't forced me into shit than what I wanted to do already. I already didn't like to be bothered. So that's why when it's like, when men start doing stupid shit towards me, it's like, motherfucker, you just fuck it up. It ain't my loss. Don't ever feel like I'm losing you, baby. Because I didn't care to have you in the first place. And the fact that I did give you some time and then you fucked over my time. And you think I'm supposed to say that it's my loss? You give a fuck if I lose you or gained you. I just know how to appreciate and show gratitude, but you also gave me attitude and say, fuck you. So the fact that you already told me and showed me and behaved and did action to show me, fuck you, Sharita, I guarantee my fuck you is going to be way stronger than your fuck you. And it seems like anyone ever doing shit towards me is suffering more of an energy because I was more of a benefit to be in half of these motherfuckers' energy because half of them didn't know how to have fun on their own. They didn't know how to find happiness. They don't know what fucking peace is. They don't know what fucking serene energy. They don't even know what the fuck a real safe space is. But when Sharita come around, damn, I feel better. I feel relief. I feel heard. I feel seen. I feel love. But I'm going to take advantage of it because you're not, because I'm what? Oh, you seem boring. Well, I didn't know it was boring to be peaceful. I didn't know it was boring that, hey, it's going to take me a quick little second to figure out how to organize this shit because the money that I could have to do the shit that it is that I really want to fucking do, I'm not able to do because these motherfuckers been stealing from me for years. But, hey, didn't nobody really want to believe me and be like, shit, if y'all really want to be on grime time shit, everybody would have been shining and every fucking body's pockets would have fucking been paid, but everybody want to play me like I was the motherfucking oddball out. But actually, I was the action leading key to a lot of this shit for a lot of you motherfuckers. Because it's like family, shit. Anybody talking about, she telling the secrets. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. Because y'all show me y'all ain't give a fuck about me. So why the fuck should I be concerned about keeping what you used to do back in the day hidden? The fuck? Did you worry about keeping my business, my privacy, or manipulating systems to go ahead and get me locked up, evaluated, all this other shit? Nah, we got to think about that. But I was the crazy one, but it seemed like the one that was most crazy was the most sane one. The one that y'all falsely accused saying I did this to kids or all this other stuff. Don't be friends with her. She crazy. No, she only crazy because she tell the truth. She only crazy because she didn't allow these motherfuckers to do the shit that it is that they do. That's the only time she would have been crazy because they know they called me crazy because they didn't ever want me to come around. And the people who they was giving the facades or the lies to, they knew that they couldn't carry out them lies in front of you while Sharita was there. That's what all of them, why y'all be like, why Sharita ain't here? Sharita ain't here because the facade and the mask that they wearing for y'all, they knew they couldn't pull that shit in front of me because I was going to rip them motherfucking fake ass masks that they got on their faces off. They knew they couldn't put on them fake stuff and try to be who they really are not in front of y'all, in front of me. I wasn't going to play that. That's the only reason why y'all didn't see me at the parties or all this other stuff, because they couldn't be fake enough for y'all to stay around. That's what the fuck that was. It was never, oh, she crazy, you don't listen to her. It was, don't listen to her because y'all was going to actually hear the fucking truth. Y'all was going to actually hear how the fuck they was looking to utilize and use y'all. Shit, Carla only got back with Shane and remarried him because she realized, like, shit, he know all the sins in secret, and if he get mad enough and we get this divorce and stuff like that, and he get mad, he could probably tell what we was doing back in the day, and I don't want that. And then once he end up getting that word that Kevin wanted to make certain shit right, Because like I said, when they couldn't figure out certain things, they needed to carry out a narrative, especially when we was in Gracefield, Florida, where we had to hide out at that time when they got that first bit of money. And that's when Carla and Shane was able to fucking move from Graceville to Orlando, because Carla was like, we can't be here. Shit. Carla did everything to stay around a fucking man and his fucking his family when his mama didn't even like her ass. I was like, you got Mammy Louise Dawkins out here talking bad and down on your ass, and you did all this shit for them to do this, and then here go a house that they probably left because they felt bad about finding out the truth when Shane finally pillow talked to Kelly, and Kelly finally told his family what the fuck was going on. Well, she don't deserve it because she was disrespectful. I wasn't disrespectful. I was just honest. And honesty is not a lot of people's policy, especially when they run into churches and shit like that. Well, we can take this money and put it into the church. Black folks love to try to put the money into the church thinking that they're going to get more attention and recognition from the pastor and shit. But then once they realize what kind of dirt the pastor and them is into, shit, they're going to use it to their benefit. I know that much about black motherfuckers. And then it was like, oh, you took advantage of Yvonne, trying to keep Yvonne secret. But it was like, shit, Yvonne, I was like, honey, you must love being abused. Because, baby, Lester was not no fucking use to you, baby. And that basketball player was willing to take your ass right the fuck back. And you didn't go back and you stayed with that. And getting disrespected, cheated on, and he got all these other babies on your ass. Carla would sit there and be talking about that girl trash bad, but then it's like, oh, we're going to be cool. But the only reason why Carla and Shane got divorced in the first place is when Carla caught Natasha butt ass naked messing around with Shane. That's been the fucking secret that they been trying to keep quiet from Tasha's husband and stuff. Because they was doing little three-ways, and then she was like, girl, I'm going to help you find you a man or whatever. And it was a grudge that she held over Tasha's head for all these motherfucking years. Well, if you didn't do this to Shane, well, I'm going to forgive you, you know what I'm saying? Because we grew up and I known you a little bit longer. And we was going through nursing school. But also Tasha and them was helping her ass doing bullshit, unbeknownst to them, not knowing they was accomplice to certain crimes, unbeknownst to Tasha and Rose that stayed in Pine Hills, unbeknownst to they Haitian friend, Don Andra, and all of these motherfuckers. Like, I knew something was up when I was talking to, what was her name? Linda Charles. We was in high school, we did chemistry together, and I think she ended up getting like a master's degree in geriatrics and shit. And I remember she came to me and she did her book, Glow, right? And as I was talking to her, I said, your family do that hoodoo and stuff. She was like, how you know that? And she was supposed to call me back. And when I realized she wasn't going to call back once I figured out her hoodoo and stuff like that, Linda Charles, that's when I figured out the Haitian part of it. And then when she figured that out, of course, Haitian communities be having that, and they be having that shit going on, right? Word spread fast. That's where Stephen Billy, okay? Stephen Billy, we knew Stephen Billy was gay way back in the day, okay? That was no secret. And then Charlie Vasquez and stuff like that. I already knew what was up. I was like, shit, these motherfuckers acting funny. Shit, I knew it was something even up at that time when Edie Mar started, being different. And then Vicky was starting acting different towards me. I was like, now, we used to be cool. We used to be in them clubs. Shit, a fight break out. It would literally be me and Edie Mar. Vicky thought she was too cute to get busy. But Edie Mar, back in the day before she started having them kids, oh, baby, number one hitter, okay? That was my little Venezuela hitter, okay? We swing first, ask questions later. That used to be me and Edie Mar back in the day. But then it was just like certain shit started happening. And that's when I had gave up on friends like way back then. I was like, in my 20s. And then it was like they had to use the people from the military to do that shit, which they were part of the Eastern Stars and Mason group and shit. And I was like, sure, you're going to have to play along because, you got to play the long haul for certain shit. When you trying to figure out what the fuck going on, you gotta play the long haul. But it was just like, that wasn't expected, but it was not like it was not expected. But I was just like, God damn, I would have expected, would have hoped that these motherfuckers would have at least been like, hey, let me give you a heads up, shawty. Let me tell you a little something. But everybody got a benefit of something. Every warlock got a job, the task to do, and shit, it'll just show and prove a motherfucker will sell their soul for anything just to keep shit on the low. But shit, anything you trying to do around me pertaining to me, shit, it ain't gonna ever fucking be quiet. Especially if you trying to double cross me and screw me over and I ain't did nothing to you. Shit, count it out. That's why I was like, look, I ain't trying to be nobody gang, group, clique, organization, society. I don't want no parts of that. Shit, I don't mind helping a motherfucker out just to give you a heads up, because I don't want to see nobody having to go away or, end up in the grave. But shit, now, the life lesson here, shit, don't care for nobody in their life if they ain't gonna care about yours. Shit, I can only save those who want to save themselves in the first place. And then, like I had gave the message last night, shit, I already know how the fucking system work and how they be getting their hits. It ain't no motherfucking secret. Most of the time, you can tell what kind of person or the doctor is, or how fucking useful certain doctors is. Like I said, when I had Dr. Porter Carrero, Dr. Castro, and shit like that, them motherfuckers was like, hey, I want you to try to read this book. And I need you to read this book. And based off of certain books people read and shit like that, you could tell so much about the book a person read. You could tell so much about people about certain books that they read or the lack of. They don't read books, shit, they're gullible. Those that do read books, you just got to pay attention to what type of books they're reading. It's a lot of things. A lot of people are like, oh, based off their hair color and their clothes and fashion, like, bitch, you just like fashion. You're a materialistic hoe, and you'll be easiest to be fucking sold. You lack creativity, and you'll be a motherfucker to manipulate a reader based off of that. Like, when people be on TikTok and shit like that, I'm not this type of reader. All the motherfuckers with all them about 50 11 ones fucking bracelets. Oh, I gotta wear the evil eye, and I gotta wear this amethyst and this. Motherfucker, do you not realize the top notch motherfuckers they got on one motherfucking thing and one fucking ring? The other motherfuckers be trying to be too flashy and shit. That shit right there be the giveaway on some of these folks. But shit, I was just sitting there, I was like, let me address this. Because I was like, Eric B., then you got Joseph, then you got Derek, but then I was like, Miss Tracy, but I was like, that explains the New York motherfuckers to use their systems in 18, but some motherfuckers just took it a little bit deeper just to figure out, oh shit, this type of money tied to them, this is who they is. Well, they don't know their real name or identity, so shit, we can keep doing this because they ain't gonna know this. No, motherfucker, all you had to do was give me my shit. Because now it's just like, you trying to make me suffer? Y'all did this chemical shit? Bruh. It's just like, sure, you just gotta stay on your shit, like, solo dolo. Solo dolo. It's like, I wouldn't take nobody fucking serious shit. I speak money just like the rest of you motherfuckers. But anything else, because I was like, shit, Fiona? I was like, no, not Fiona. But I was like, shit. But I was like, I get it. Some of these motherfuckers like, I ain't finna go against these people. It's too many people. Well, shit, the fact that you don't know how to go against nobody speaks volumes about you. How the fuck you in a position and you too concerned about people liking you at work? You don't go to fucking work to make friends. Just do your fucking job. If your job told you to investigate the shit and you realize you working with some dirty motherfuckers, then it's just gonna be what the fuck it is. You a cop snitcher. I don't give a fuck, do your job. But shit, depending on what it is, it might be something I can compensate you. We can come up with a job. But shit, motherfuckers don't want to do the right thing. But I ain't tripping though. It was just like, Shorty, you just gotta speak on that, because that dream was a little bit too vivid, too comfortable for my liking. And for this shit to go on how it was just like, shit. Because there'd be a lot of motherfuckers to make a quick judgment off of shit versus Let me ask. And it's like motherfuckers realizing at the same time, I ain't know you was going through all of that shit right there, right up on our nose. No shit, Dick Tracy, but did you actually bother to ask the person of who they're doing the fuck shit towards? Because the only thing y'all seeing is y'all partying and drinking and eating food with these motherfuckers. Not knowing they sacrificing y'all asses, doing hoodoo and voodoo on y'all asses, and y'all realizing like now, like, wait a minute, they are paying us to do this work on them, and then trying to hide behind Bibles. They paying us to unalive the motherfucker. You don't think at the midst of it that they know you're distracted to get to me, that you're not going to be able to pay attention to what the fuck they doing? Now it's like, you right. No shit, Dick Tracy. Would you tell me? Hell no, y'all won't tell me that shit. But at this point, why the fuck should I give a fuck about who's saying what? Because it's like, they know it for a fact. I would never did nobody like that. And still with this shit going on, still wouldn't do nobody like that. But I also know at the same time, same way like y'all said, that ain't got nothing to do with me, ain't none of my business, right? So it ain't none of my business if you needed to know if y'all was in fucking danger or not, right? I feel like fear is fucking fear. But the thing of it is, the biggest blessing is you guys are watching it. I don't have to watch it. I just know it's fucking happening intuitively. So the blessing of it is that when I know that God has put it in front of my face, I'm obligated and it's my duty to warn you. Now, what you choose to do with the warning or without the warning, that's solely on you. If I gave you the warning, hey, you fit to go through this, and this, and you chose not to take heed to it, that ain't got shit to do with me, because I already warned your stupid ass and told your ass this is what the fuck gonna happen. Now it's like you cursed me. I ain't cursed your bitch ass. I tried to tell you before it even happened. But remember, you have to remember, you intentionally went against what it was that I was saying. You intentionally went against when I was looking to genuinely help you from un corazón, from a heart. Y'all gotta remember that shit. And now that it's like, oh, you don't feel bad, why should I feel bad? That's no different than somebody said, oh, we gotta deliver, who gonna tell her that this happened with her kids. I don't know, who's gonna tell me? Well, we don't know what's the reaction or response. No one ever fucking does, but shit, I'm so numb. It's like, shit, it's gonna be what the fuck it is. Because who to trust in this situation? Nobody. That's why I was so adamant of doing what the fuck I want, with who I want it, when I want it. But I also knew not to lie to you motherfuckers. Yeah, I'm with him and her and you and them. I had no reason to fucking lie. That's a player. Motherfucker, either you're going to choose to stay or you're going to choose to stay the fuck away. It made me no different. Because to me, shit, they going to leave any fucking way. So why the fuck should I even make you want to stay? You want to go over there, by all means, congratulations. And I'm going to go the fuck on about my day. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. It's just life. It's just life. But that bothered me. But it is what it is. Desvedanya. Have a great day. Bendiciones. Whatever the case may be. Konnichiwa. Oiwa. Whatever.